So it's just first it's just like, what's up, woman? Like, and he goes for it, and then he's like, yeah, I just did that because like I know you anyway. But it's not. How does he get away with that? Because he's observing the whole Torah, right?
And he raised his voice and he wept. So I guess people from the East are more expressive of their emotions than people from the West.
Well, what is that? That line jumped out at me. He raised
then Jacob
his voice
kissed
and wept.
Rachel. He raised his voice and wept. I guess he got a high-pitched voice.
Is it raised the pitch of his voice, or that his voice became, or does it just mean he was crying loudly, or does it mean like what's up there?
Well, according to the Oscar commentary, and he wept. Jacob wept because he foresaw that Rachel would not be buried with him in the cave of Machpelah.
Right.
I guess that's pretty obvious.
Well, like
that's why he just sees the girl and then he. She's not going to be buried with
I'm
me.
gonna die alone, bitch. Like,
she's not going to be buried with me. In Machpelah.
That's one insightful dude to be able to pick that up just from. But you think it would weird someone out on a first date?
Yeah. Why are you crying? Because we won't be buried together.
We won't be buried together. Boy, you want to see a woman's back fast. Tell her that on the first date. Like to start crying. Why are you crying? Because I know we won't be buried together. But again, like don't you think you always? That's one of the reasons like men can sometimes feel almost pain in the presence of a beautiful woman is because like you can only possess them so far.
Right.
And you can't. You want when you see a beautiful woman, you want to eat them up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You want to totally possess.
You want to and you
modern
can't totally
mores
possess.
don't allow that for that anymore.
And the what?
Modern mores don't allow for that anymore.
To totally possess them?
Yeah, it was kind of easier 2,500 years ago, but.
Well, what would totally possessing a woman mean?
Well,
to you?
you could say you can't leave the house and you can't drive a car and.
Well, guys make that work all the time. I mean, there are guys who can get that out of a relationship. You just gotta. I guess they play it the way they play it. Like, but no, but that's like to me, it's like you can't. We're looking for something. Like when you're attracted to something, you want something from it, and you can never have it because it's not inside you. Like so, it's like the pain of knowing. I want to eat you up, lady, but I can't. I'm still me, and you're still you. So fuck.
So when Jacob finds out that he was deceived, and he has to work another 7 years for Rachel, he says to Laban, "Deliver my wife, for my term is fulfilled, and I will consort with her." Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
He was pretty blunt about it.
I mean, is that the way you approach your father-in-law?
Your father-in-law. I didn't, with my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, I didn't even make jokes about, I didn't make sexual allusions, didn't matter how much they did, for years and years and years, and I still don't do it just gratuitously. Like, yeah, it's not very respectful. And he also, and here's one thing that really caught me, is that when he first meets Leah, when he first gets Leah, first he goes into Leah, he sleeps with her, wake up the next morning, and behold, it's Leah.
He wasn't paying very much attention to her face.
No, he didn't even notice till the next morning. He's like, and then he goes and complains to Laban. Well, it's kind of like when you order a meal in a restaurant and you don't like it, and I've done this before, and then like 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, what's up with that? And they're like,
he was all the way through.
He was all the way through. So, what do you make of that?
Well, I think he was just like ready for his wedding night, and like he just went to town, and he'd scruple later. Have his scruples later. Right now, it was a woman in his bed, and
right.
That's all that mattered. Sometimes you want like a particular woman in your bed, and other times you just want a woman in your bed.
Right. But even when you want a woman, it's not.
And he was just like picturing that it was Rachel.
Right. But isn't that the lesson there? Like, isn't that the kind of the fun teaching there? It's that you don't, because it's interesting that they say he knew her as a sexual thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of times you meet a woman and you get intimate and all that stuff, and then down the road you're like, dude, this isn't who I thought you were. Like I had you pegged as somebody else. What's up with that?
Right.
And
right.
I was thinking, every marriage is kind of like
Right.
You
Every
feel
man thinks he's marrying Rachel and wakes up with Leah.
right. Yeah.
I want to make sure I got that on tape. Famous rabbi said this. Every man thinks he's marrying Rachel, and he wakes up with Leah.
Did a famous rabbi you?
No, a famous rabbi, not me. I heard that, but I thought that was a good
Right.
one.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like that's just marriage, and you marry you marry the woman of your
dreams. And then
and
doesn't last long.
And then you realize she's her own thing and she's not your dreams.
Right.
And so you got to figure out what to do with that.
Every man thinks he's marrying Rachel.
It's
and he
true.
wakes up with Leah.
Because every woman is both Rachel and Leah. Like,
Right.
I think that's some deep shit. I do. Like,
it's good. It's very
it's
funny.
pretty good.
It's like when I heard that, I was like, I laughed.
Yeah. And
Okay.
poor women, because then they want to be Rachel. But
Now, according to the Outscroll, Jacob's expression, "and I will consort with her," would have been vulgar in a lesser person. Jacob's only intent was that he was already 84 years old, and he had to begin his mission of bringing the 12 tribes into the world. His concern was to serve God, not physical pleasure.
Okay.
That's according to Rashi, so it must be right.
Well, if Rashi said it, it's in the mouth of a lesser man. Boy, it's great being a great man because
Yes,
you just
you
get to
really-
do whatever you want, and because you did it, that stuff was holy. That's wild. Yeah, he marries two sisters, which is prohibited. Which
Later in the
which
Torah,
is prohibited.
Yeah.
He speaks about them in very vulgar fashion. He kisses them before he's spoken to them. He sleeps with one and then doesn't even notice it's the other one until the next morning. But he's a great man. So that was righteous.
It's ironic that Jacob, who cheated his brother out of his birthright and cheated his father, then gets cheated by Laban.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, this seems to be something that I noticed. Like if you read this thing with Jacob cheating Esau,
Mm-hmm.
if you read I remember Mark Twain writing about that and him saying like, what the hell did Esau do wrong? Like he's the good guy here and he gets screwed,
right.
and Jacob's supposed to be holy. So it's kind of, I know we Jews have a different interpretation, but yeah, it feels like a comeuppance for Jacob there. Like it feels like what goes around comes around.
So like people like Ivan Boesky and Michael Milken, they were like carrying on in the tradition of their father Jacob. Like we learn here in the Torah, the ways to cheat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on cheating in Vayetze, I mean, when he makes his deal with Laban about I'll take the crappy sheep, then from my I'm not wise in the ways of sheep rearing, but like it seems
Not what I hear.
Yeah. Well, I'll take them if they're there, but he specifically works it so that all the baby sheep are for him, are his type.
Right.
And then Laban gets upset and he's like, "What's wrong with you? This is just how it's going to be because God's on my side."
Right.
But he cheated him. I mean, or he took advantage of his lack of knowledge or something. So yeah, it's like. It feels like it's condoning cheating, unless I read wrong what was going on there. But when he takes the rods and makes sure only his are in then they only look at his, and he's just making it so, okay, we made a deal that seems fair. Now let me make sure it works just to my advantage and not to his.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. It's weird because it seems like, yeah, this is Jacob, our father, and this is how he cheated his way, and this is how he even in bad circumstances, he took advantage of someone else and made it work for him.
It's funny, I was reading a comment about cheating, stories about cheating at Yeshiva University. Like, doesn't that seem kind of incongruous, like going to Bob Jones and like cheating your way through Bob Jones?
Well, that's what they say about Bob Jones. They call it BJU for a reason. But yeah, yeah.
Or like cheating your way through Yeshiva University. It seems a little incongruous, doesn't it?
Well, I guess not.
I guess not.
I guess not. I mean, even I heard that at one point in the Middle Ages, before the rabbis would meet with